Yes. Speaking of parents and kids, I do want to get to this last topic. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen that video with the teacher getting his hair taken out.
Great segue.
Why do you think that video or that specific incident got so much backlash, and do you think it's warranted?
I think go ahead.
Wait,
I think
we got to hear you. You've been quiet this whole show.
I'm more of a listener. I have a lot of thoughts though. I think it was just came down to classroom ethic. Traditionally, what is a classroom? What is a teacher? What are students? Teachers are supposed to teach students. Are supposed to be that. You might not even be able to laugh for real, and just keep it moving. So I think the fact that it was not something traditional in a classroom, probably also the fact that they were females, if you want me to be honest, and he was a male, they were females, because I saw people commenting about that. Yeah. I think that's what made it look bad.
I think as a teacher, you have to set strong
but do you think it was warranted?
The firing.
Oh, firing? No, I don't think so. I think I saw what he said also when he said, like, people are not used to having fun teachers. And this was like, do I think it was appropriate in that time in the classroom? No. Do I think he should have been fired? No. That could have been a conversation. I think because it got posted on social media and it blew up, got the wrong attention, that's why he got fired.
Was he fired or suspended? Not to cut you off.
I heard
fired.
Yeah, it's fired. I heard suspended as well. Either
Whichever
way,
one that he was, to be honest,
yeah.
I still feel the same way. I think if it wasn't on social media, that would have been a conversation, and he would not have been reprimanded in that way.
I didn't say that for semantics. I was more so saying because I think that a suspension, I think, is definitely appropriate. Not only did he start off the video with let's stir the pot a little, so he knew exactly what he was doing when he brought that conversation to social media. It also was, you have girls that you've taken out of their classroom, which he said, like, they finished their work early, they were able to come into the classroom, they're taking out his hair, he's not even participating with them. Like, it's not even we could do this together. He's sitting there on his computer, they're taking his hair out. When you put these things on social media, you leave it to public opinion. So I say, like, suspended or fired, because I think what may have been, that might be the culture in the school, where it's like they do things like that. The female teachers may have guys taking their hair out, and girls or whatever, but when you put things out for public opinion, that gives room to influence your thought process.
Exactly.
And so as a school where it may be like, we don't have a problem with it because this is the culture, we're very collaborative environment. It's like, okay, well, now we're seeing what the reaction is. So now we have to react too. So it doesn't look like we're just like sitting back and doing nothing,
Exactly.
So I think for him to get fired, it's a bit much. I don't think it was that was necessary. I also don't know him enough to say, what kind of man he is. But I think to put something out there with the intention of sparking a conversation, knowing that people are going to be very opinionated when they see young girls interacting with a grown man in a situation like that, you can't get mad at what the repercussions are.
I think he had to be prepared for the potential outcomes, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of things that could have happened. He could have walked away with nothing more than, like, don't do that again.
Verbal.
Right, verbal.
I
But
think those are the dangers of technology. Like,
Yes.
we just don't, teachers now want to film their students. That's unethical completely. Like, you shouldn't be filming your kids at all. I think that as a teacher, you have to set strong boundaries. Like, I used to teach. The most you get out of me is a hug and away, We were talking earlier privately, right, about how today people are being accused so easily of and sexual assault. So that means as a teacher, you should be protecting yourself too. That you shouldn't be allowing students to put their hands on you, because it can be perceived another way, even if that wasn't your intention. And that's exactly what happened. So I think, one, posting on social media, you fucked up. Two, they shouldn't be putting their hands on you at any capacity, unless it's like a nice, friendly hug, because teachers do that sometimes. You might come into class, hey, Mr. Jones, you're cool, whatever, hug, whatever, cool. We keep it pushing. But now you're in my hair. Yeah. I think that's a little different.
It's intimate. And not to play like devil's advocate, but the biggest issue I feel like people had with what they were defending him is, what is a teacher's role now in society? And this is the problem. There will be parents who will be upset that something like that happens, but then it'll be those same parents who expect the teacher to drive their children home when they can't pick their kid up from school at a certain time. There was a teacher who recently said about, like, all the teacher backlashes. There was another thing about a white teacher putting up the hair of a black little girl so she could play, right? There was a whole discussion about that, and he got fired as well. The issue is, parents expect teachers to do the most sometimes and expect a lot from them. This teacher goes, since we're firing teacher for unethical things of what a teacher should do, then y'all can come to the gym and pick up your kids at 3:45 on the dot. There's no reason I should be driving your child home miles away when gas is $3.14. And I'm like, that's true, because there's a lot of teachers nowadays playing the role of teacher, parent, provider, guardian,
That's what
driver,
always were,
bus
though.
driver. Yeah, it's always been. Now it's like people have a problem.
They were always were, and then now, we got set boundaries.
You can't
I can't
have
even
both.
look at you can't have both.
I mean,
Exactly.
the driving thing is a little excessive because I don't even think that's allowed in majority of schools based on contracts.
Let me ask this question.
But there are teachers doing it.
If that was a gay male and women, the girls were taking his hair out, would we have the same conversation?
I think so.
Yeah, it would
think it's
still
still
have.
the
I don't think so.
whole
I don't think
It
so.
still would have been, because
point
how
of
would we have
him-
known that he was gay in the video? Like, that's the thing. How would we have
within
known?
this whole aftermath, obviously the people going the internet going to internet, right? So they brung up a compilation of white teachers getting their hair braided by black students, other students doing this to white male teachers. There's a compilation. You could go on TikTok and look at a whole compilation. This has been happening, and I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but this man, from my understanding, he seems to be a teacher that the kids respect. He recorded it in a way. He explained what he was doing. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but he explained what he was doing. He recorded it that way. Y'all can't say, if he didn't record it, y'all can't assume that, well, we don't know what he was doing. He recorded it for his own safety, and that could have been a detriment to him. He had his hands to himself. He wasn't looking at them any type of way. Sometimes we want, men we don't have enough black male teachers in the school system at all now. Now when we have one who seems to be a good teacher that the kids can relate to. I've seen people saying, "Oh, well, why is he using bestie?" Like he's meeting the kids where they're at. Like he is younger, so of course he's going to use terminology that they can relate to. Yeah. So I think sometimes we have to allow men to have that positive, be that positive role model in these young girls or young boys' lives without always going to the extreme and saying it's sexual or we're trying to villainize him. Like I seen people celebrating that this man got fired. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that there's a conversation to be had about what it does when the girls move on. They're in middle school now. So he may have had completely innocent intentions with them taking out his hair, but that doesn't mean that when they go to high school and they have a teacher who's actually a pervert, when he's like, "Oh yeah, come take out my hair," and he's trying to sneak glances and everything, it doesn't mean that they're like that's appropriate situation, because they may be like, "Oh well, my teacher at so-and-so school said it was fine. Like I did it for him."
You could say that in any situation. He could
Yeah.
have been tutoring after school, and they go tutor with the teacher in high school, and that could happen in any situation.
But in a tutoring situation, you are
you
going
one-on-one
with
in the classroom with your
You could say that's an intimate situation too. It's a one-on-one situation. No other students is there.
But
You
I mean,
could
it's
claim the
appropriate.
same thing.
It's appropriate though. So
that don't mean it can't still not be an intimate situation.
It doesn't. But if you're in school getting tutored, you should be getting tutored in school.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go to school to get your hair taken out.
I think
So it's a different, not to cut you off, but it's a different dynamic where it's like, my friend was also telling me, she's a teacher, and she was telling me about there was this little girl that had to use the bathroom in her school. And when she had to use the bathroom, there was a janitor in there. And basically one of the teachers was telling her that she should still let the girl use the bathroom while the janitor was in there because he wasn't going to do anything to her. She was like, yeah. And she was like, I'm here. Like, he's not going to do anything to her. She could still use the bathroom. Like, he's fine. Just let her go in and out. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's a grown ass man. Why would I let her go in the bathroom with a grown ass man?
Mm.
And it's like, what you may think, he's completely innocent and he may not do anything to that little girl, and that may be very well and true, but that doesn't mean that the next time she goes in the bathroom and she sees a man in there that she's not going to think it's okay because she did it the last time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you may have a man who is completely innocent in his actions, and it's like, yeah, you could take my hair out, you look at me as a big brother, you look at me as a father figure, cool, but it creates a level of comfortability for you to navigate other situations doing the same thing because the grace that you were shown in that
can be applied to
situation.
any situation.
Yeah, but when it comes to children, you have to be overprotective of children because they're sponges. They're learning everything.
I think the difference is because this could happen at home with your parents as well. But the difference is your parents are going to tell you like, "Oh, I'm the only one that's supposed to be doing that with you." You know what I'm saying? But I think the point that's getting overlooked in this whole situation is he's motivating these kids. They finished their work early just so they could go chill with him. So whatever he's doing is working.
They gonna say that's a red flag. Why do you want to chill with him? You know what I'm saying?
It got teachers. It got teachers but they got teachers. Bro, they got teachers that can't get their kids to do no work in the classroom.
Bro, my teachers motivated me by saying we can play freeze dance after if y'all finish.
I don't think they were motivated by taking out his hair.
Yeah, I'm not talking about taking out his hair. He didn't tell them, yo, y'all finish your work, y'all come braid my hair. They finished their work and came to the classroom and he said, yo, I need a favor. That was it.
I think it's the act that has everybody twisted. Because if he said, after you finish early, we could play tic-tac-toe on the board, it wouldn't have been looked at strangely.
Yeah.
I understand. And I disagree. I mean, I agree, taking out his hair was not appropriate. The ethics are wrong. I agree with that. 100%. There's no classroom ethic for sure. But my opinion is that he shouldn't have been suspended or fired. Do I think that there should have been a conversation? Absolutely. You need to know that you shouldn't be posting that on social media. You shouldn't have had them doing that to your hair.
He had the signatures of all the parents of these children.
It's not about having the signatures.
No,
though.
like putting it up on TikTok or wherever he put it. Like you shouldn't be posting kids taking out your hair.
But he knew what he was doing. Like I said, he started the video off. Okay, let's stir the pot.
Anytime you put something on social media, it's already on a platform where everybody gets to have an opinion. Now, how other people react is not in your control.
People gonna have an opinion on.
He might have posted.
To every action, there is a direct reaction.
Groomers.
Yeah, but now this is
clock it.
Grooming the kids and fucking them.
Clock it.
Those be the niggas that be saying all the cool shit.
Clock it. Come on to the show.
Yo, that's a fact though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but now we get into the point where we villainize all men based off of the actions of a few, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not about villainizing.
It's nothing about villainizing him.
It is about because if he was a gay male, we would not have this conversation.
That's not true. This was an intimate situation.
What I would say is this.
No, that's the thing. This was an intimate situation. I do not want my child touching any grown adult's hair that they're not related to, that at home. Like, that's weird. It has nothing to do with him being gay, straight. That's weird. Why are you in the head of a grown man? Why are you touching a grown man?
There's compilation. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but we have to reevaluate everything. We got to stop sexualizing everything because of trauma. And just like how everybody became a boundaries and ethic and professionalism, when teachers have been yelling for the last couple of years, yo, your children are unteachable. They have poor behavior. They're on top of tables twerking. None of y'all are attending. None of y'all are attending parent-teacher associations. Y'all don't know the relationships of these. Y'all don't even know who these teachers are. Y'all don't know the teachers that y'all
exactly. You don't know who they are.
Nobody's involved in their students' lives. But when teachers have been saying for years, like nobody. Where's all the uproar when your kids are coming to school with their pants down, being disrespectful, fighting teachers? Where's the same energy? There's not that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Keep that same energy across the board.
Because they are a child, and that is a grown adult.
That doesn't mean it's acceptable.
I think it's not acceptable, but he's a grown man, and those are children. I understand what you're saying. Parents need to take care of their children and reprimand them for what they're doing in school. Absolutely. Their behavior is unacceptable. But at the end of the day, a child is going to do what a child does. A grown man who knows right from wrong is different.
On the table is not.
Children are immature, though.
Parents, we need y'all to be more vocal. And what y'all are vocal about? Some innocent man who doesn't have a reputation for harming kids. Do you know him?
But also
from harming kids.
Also,
then now we're thinking the worst possible scenario.
These kids that are twerking on tables, these kids that are fighting in school, they're also getting suspended. They are getting reprimanded. It's not just a video that gets posted up like.
It's all over social media. Other parents are talking shit about them too.
Twerking and they're going to class the next day like nothing. Like no, that's so embarrassing. when we have trouble.
That's I'm just saying keep the same energy. Why are we not having enough conversations about female teachers sexually assaulting male teachers? Nobody's talking about that.
I've seen conversations, but I would say that a lot of those conversations are being led by women because unfortunately men think that shit is cool. You see a woman that has been sexually assaulting a young boy in school, and you have people reposting it like, like, where were teachers like this when I was in school? There are men that glorify those type of actions. So you can't compare it because it's a very one-sided conversation. The women have a lot to say about it, at least from what I've seen. Women have a lot to say because sexual assault is sexual assault no matter who it's coming from. But the men are the ones that are like, oh shit, I want a teacher like that. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, he's a snitch for telling. Why would he tell? That's what's happening. So you can't really hold it. The conversations are definitely happening. The same way that the conversations are happening when it comes to what he did with taking the kids' hair out and with kids twerking on tables and stuff like that. A lot of the people who are talking about it don't have kids. He put it out to the internet. So you have students that are talking about it. You have people like me. I have no kids, but I can still give my opinion on the situation because he brought it to the internet. Whereas I'm not aware of kids twerking on tables and stuff like that unless I see it. And if I see it, then it's subject to a conversation. But teachers aren't really recording them doing that the same way that he recorded it and put it up for us to see.
My thing is, if the parents didn't have a problem with it, the school didn't have a problem with it, then these opinions of everybody on the social media, it shouldn't affect what they do. If that works for their school and there's no problem, you should stick by your teacher.
But if nobody calls it out, then who's gonna have the conversation?
But the thing was never not to have a conversation. The thing was he didn't need to get fired. He didn't need to get suspended. There should absolutely have been a conversation. It shouldn't have been like, oh, carry on. What you did wasn't wrong.
Right.
Yes, it was wrong. Yes, we need to talk about it. But you didn't need to get suspended because, then that opens up the can of worms of, oh, well, that teacher did it. That compilation came out and that teacher didn't get suspended in that school district.
But you know what else I just thought about? Maybe if he did get suspended, maybe it also was because, once again, the internet can influence our opinions on things.
For sure.
Maybe it was like, we don't want you to be into the building because there are other teachers that may look at you differently, or there are other students that may look at you differently, where it's like, you maybe just for the time being, you could take a step back. The school year is about to end anyway. Take a step back, do what you got to do, because you don't know what kind of treatment you're going to be getting when you step back into these doors.
So and that's why I said social media is the problem.
That. Yeah,
right.
No, definitely.
And with what you were saying about like us not like hearing like what's going on in other situations, the problem is we need to look at situations sometimes singularly. We have a problem as like a generation of social media is we keep comparing situations to other situations, and then it excuses the behavior of the main problem. The problem is, genuinely, he had a few little girls take his hair out. It was unprofessional. That's it. That's the end of the story. We don't need to compare it to this teacher who did that, but that was professional, and this teacher did that, because we can compare a situation to billions of other situations, but that doesn't excuse what he did. His behavior was unethical and it was unprofessional. That's it. It doesn't matter if this teacher over here did this and they didn't get suspended. Doesn't matter. This is what happened in this situation. This is how we're addressing it. And that's it.
Is one thing, and I agree, it's one thing to have a conversation, but we can't be so vocal about this one particular conversation that we are ignoring the other conversations that are probably more important. Maybe there needs to be, because of this conversation, maybe more parents need to join the parent-teacher association so they could understand what's going on with their school, with their students, with the relationships with their students. Some parents are. There's a lot of parents that aren't. So they don't know what kind of relationship these students and teachers have. Some of them could be inappropriate. Some of them could genuinely just be like they have their best interest. There's a PSA. There's teachers that actually have the best interest of students out there, genuinely, like without no creepy shit, without no sexual shit, without no whatever the case is. Like, you know what I mean? So now we get to a point now where we have less male teachers. Now we're probably going to is less because they're so afraid we can't have no interactions at all. Like, I'm thinking maybe they might not have a father figure or that positive male role model, and I'm here to be a safe space for them. They trust me, whatever the case is. Like, no sexual shit. Like, we just so used to sexualizing everything, and I think that's where the issue comes from.
So are you saying that you think it was okay?
I don't think he should have got fired or suspended, and I don't think that people should have been celebrating him getting fired or suspended. Like,
but her question was, do you think what he did was okay?
If I was a parent, right, and apparently I can't talk about this because I'm not a parent, so whatever the case is,
you can.
Hypothetically.
If I was a parent, I would have a better relationship with my school, with my child's school, and the teachers to understand like they have his best interest. I don't think what he did.
You're not answering the question.
He getting to his point.
You keep going around the question. The question is, do you think what he did was okay? It's a yes or no answer. Do you think what he did in the video was okay?
Okay with your children?
If I had a daughter and I understood the relationship.
No.
I'm getting to the yes or no. Like,
I
what
think
the
what
fuck?
Eli is trying to say, if he had a personal relationship with that teacher and he understood the intentions of that teacher, then he would be okay with it, right?
Exactly.
If he didn't understand, then it would be
So if I had that, if I had that relationship with that teacher,
but from the outside looking in, all you see is a grown ass man with little girls, and that looks bad.
And he said himself, the parents didn't have an issue with it.
Exactly.
The students didn't have. They understand the type of teacher he is.
Exactly.
And I get, yes, we could think of the worst possible. Ever since the Kells and all these other niggas, we could always think about the worst possible scenario and go to that, and then be like, well, that
I have
did
a
it.
question
Like, you know what I mean?
for you. What if you did have a relationship with him as a teacher, but you didn't like his character, or you might find something flawed about him, but your daughter is braiding his hair? So, or do you also think that there should be like an investigative process within schools where like teachers are being vetted or checked to see their behavior?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But how would you feel with that first question if it was your daughter and you didn't really have a good relationship with the teacher? Because, for example, I have a son.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have that relationship. I don't know his intentions. So yes, if I'm on the outside looking in and I didn't do the work to invest into my child and her teachers, like, then I wouldn't have that information. So of course I'm gonna feel some type of way. Yes.
But what about the hygiene? Like, that's unsanitary.
Well, that too.
That was in the comments. They were talking about
I'm
what
motherfuckers feel about hygiene. Like,
And hair does carry energy too. So it's
man.
very,
My mom
it's
always
very
said that. You can't just be touching up.
it does like
Sanitary.
they been touching the kids all day, they friends all day at school.
kids that play
They in the lunch cafeteria.
They don't play in mud anymore.
They touching
They don't
railings
do
and all
that
that other shit.
nowadays.
Like, what the
They
fuck?
don't play in mud no more. That was us.
Huh?
That was I was a teacher.
Oh,
Like to
they're middle schoolers and they are also iPad kids. They not getting dirty.
They don't get dirty. They don't know hygiene.
They're in a public
As soon as they
place.
touch a doorknob
Kids
or railing or like.
first of all, kids be sneezing, touching anything, and they come in.
Yeah, but you're talking about
They're
little
dirty.
children. We're talking about middle schoolers that are self-aware of
Yeah,
hygiene.
but that's
Yeah.
know what they be doing.
Self-aware of what is right and wrong as well. 'Cause
Adults
we
not
keep-
even self-aware of their hygiene.
But we keep talking about him being wrong,
Yo.
but they should have also been old enough to
Adults
be
don't
aware that unbraiding your teacher's hair is a little strange.
Well, no, I don't think
It
so.
wasn't braiding his hair.
And if y'all saying that they're aware of hygiene, that means they're aware of how if his hair was clean enough to touch or not.
No, because
he's saying unbraid my hair, and they're like, okay.
No, because they don't have.
They're aware of
they-
hygiene, but not when it comes to
No, because children do not have the discernment that adults do.
They
So
don't. It's
if-
different.
So
but you're
if you
old enough.
are an adult that you, especially taking on the role of a leader, your children are following your lead. So if you are saying this is something that I want y'all to do, and this is a project that we're gonna do as impressionable children whose frontal lobes have not even developed yet, you are assuming that your teacher has your best interest and that's what you're gonna do. So
That's what
it's
some kids assume for sure.
Yeah.
Me,
Yeah, I
I would
mean-
have. If my teacher told me unbraid my hair and we were cool, I would be like, no.
But that's also your experience. There are not
Yeah.
kids who have that type of discernment, and more likely than not,
Mhm.
they don't.
But these,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Every
these
kid
these
is
are the same.
different. Yeah.
These are the same kids we're talking about that we're allowing them to listen to Sexy Red and all this other sexual activity.
I don't think
but now
parents
now
are
they don't
allowing
like.
that to happen. That's just society.
They bumping and shit on the way to school.
No,
like,
but that's the problem.
like,
That's certain.
the parents be singing it with them. We singing it with
That's
them.
the thing. The problem is
The mom
these
be in
are
the car
other.
like, yeah, you're sexy.
That's different because there are some children who are exposed to things before other kids are.
That's a whole
So
other topic.
by natural association, other kids who may not know those things are exposed because they're around that. So if me and you are on the bus and we're middle schoolers and your mom lets you listen to Sexy Red and my mom only lets me listen to Christian music, now I'm listening to Sexy Red and I know who she is because of you.
Mhm.
So exposure by association is completely different.
Mhm.
Like it's not, I don't think parents are actively allowing their children to listen to this or to curse or to do all those
Some
things.
are.
Well,
Some definitely
some are, some who don't need to be parents, but
There's a lot of
parents
them. A lot
who
of
parents
them.
who actually have their children's best interest at heart sometimes have children who know things that they don't want them to know, and they can't control it because you can't protect your kid from the world. You know,
Right.
you have to allow your kid to live and learn on their own, but we can't assume that all behaviors that are bad from children are always learned from their parents. Sometimes they're learned by the little nasty kid from the bus stop. You know what I mean? It's not always the parent's fault, or the parent needs to be like, like sometimes it's just by association. You can't oversee your child with everything. You just have to trust that what you instilled in them is enough for them to take on the world and be able to be positive. And that's also the issue with teachers doing that parents, we trust them to go out to school, and we trust that teacher to continue that and instill in them positive things, and then they come home and we see a video of them online unbraiding their teacher's hair. Like, that's not what you send your child to do. You know, like, you want them to go to school and learn and do something positive. That was not a positive outcome. That only gained negativity. You know what I mean?
Do you think that he should have been, like, he deserved whatever?
I think he should have been reprimanded. I don't think fired. He needed to be suspended. He needed to, like, the whole school needed to go through an ethics check, because clearly if that's what's being allowed, first of all, why are you outside and have this free time to go? Who was their teacher who let them go out there? You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. Who let them do that?
And they finished.
He said no. He said there was other classrooms. What are the other teachers doing that they're allowing their students to go out and do something else that has nothing to do with schoolwork?
And it's not even and it's not even June yet. Like, June is usually where students start kind of like rolling out and things are more chilled.
And so I'm like, y'all not. And what you were saying, you said about having relationships with teachers. What if, as a mom, I do have a relationship with Miss Penny, but Miss Penny done send my child to Mr. Kyle's classroom, and I don't know Mr. Kyle. So now, as a parent who is a part of the PTN, who is a part of knowing their teacher, and who goes to every parent-teacher conference, I haven't met Mr. Kyle because my child is not in Mr. Kyle's classroom. So why do I need to have an intimate relationship with him when Miss Penny is her teacher or his teacher? You know?
And on top of that, I sent my child to Miss Penny's class, and now my child is in a video that's floating around for millions of people to see and comment on.
So now I'm gonna have a conversation with Miss Penny, because why aren't you watching my child? Why did you let my child go to another classroom?
These are all hypotheticals, because all the parents was okay with it until it hit the internet. Like, so
that's what I'm saying. I think the social media aspect is what has everybody
Did the parents
in
say
shambles.
That though? Right.
That's what he said. Just like how that's what Josh said.
He said that the parents liked his content and they were okay with him posting videos. But they didn't necessarily agree to having them taking his hair out.
That's what the parents.
Right.
That's what the parents said.
Well, that's what he said in his video. He said that
the parents wasn't necessarily agree.
They weren't aware of the type of content he was making.
No.
They had seen his content prior, but they didn't know of this specific video.
Because the video of them taking his hair out was initially on live. He was on live while they were taking his hair out. And then he took a recording of the live and posted it to his page to have the conversation about it. So it was happening in real time.
So look,
I don't know.
It is actually quite illegal to film students. That's why parents have to sign a consent form. Just like we had a waiver that we had to sign to be here today, they have to do the same thing. So that's already an issue, like, in itself. Like, I don't think teachers should be recording
and the
any
content
child.
is specified in those contracts. It doesn't say TikTok videos. It says for school pictures or the yearbook.
Right.
It's very specific what these forms say.
Yeah. You don't know what's on his phone.
Now everybody know the fucking school textbooks and shit. Like, now they got the manual and they fucking
When you go
phone
to
and shit.
school,
Like,
all those things say the same thing. It's for school uses. The guidelines for school uses. What he was doing was personal use. That has completely different. So they didn't sign a waiver to be on his personal TikTok. They signed a waiver for it to be for the school. You know, so. Those are totally different things.
I don't think he should have been comfortable enough to be posting TikToks of his students.
Exactly.
Like, regardless. When you're at work to work. So the fact that you even intertwine the two is crazy.
So how y'all feel about them candy salad videos that's like going around on TikTok? Oh, yeah.
The what?
Candy what?
There's like a trend right now on TikTok where like they have students and they're like, my name is Johnny and I bought Sour Patch Kids. And then they put it,
I have seen
and like that's like a very innocent type of video. So like how do y'all feel about that? Because the teachers are in the video, the students are in the video saying their names. Some of them have school.
Wait, hold on real quick. I feel like we gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Oh,
So, you know,
okay. My